This essay example, as well as thousands of others, is available in text format on our website for free and without registration. Simply Google Ivy Panda Free Essays.
Introduction. Virtually all households, offices, industries, schools, among others, require energy. There are different sources of energy, namely electricity, wind, solar, biogas, and firewood, among others. Although electricity is the most available energy source, it qualifies as the main source of environmental pollution. Problem statement. Although solar and wind provide energy, electricity is the common worldwide source of energy. However, there is an increase in environmental pollution due to the misuse of electric power because most households, offices, learning institutions, and industries do not disconnect most of the electric appliances when not in use, hence wasting electricity energy. Apart from contributing to the deterioration of the environment, electricity bills also shoot up, increasing one's expenditure. Therefore, the following project aims to reduce electricity emissions due to human ignorance. The hypothesis is that unplugging all electric appliances for more than 6 hours a day cuts down the electric bill by 20%, curbing environmental pollution. Project Steps. The steps are so simple, with no materials needed other than consent from the owner of the home or wherever the project is being managed. The managers might be parents, office bosses, or school administrators. The first step is to record the number of all the electric appliances like phone chargers, microwaves, toasters, and computers, among others, from the house, excluding refrigerators and freezers. Give an identification name for all the rooms and the number of electric appliances. The second step is to check all the electrical devices and gadgets in every room, unplugging them from the sockets on the walls and switching off all the bulbs that are on. Using the record book, highlight all the devices that have been unplugged. However, this second step applies at specific times of the day, hence, consistency and discipline are mandatory. Carry out step 2 consistently for 1 month. Thirdly, the next day, switch on all the electrical devices if necessary. However, do not switch on appliances when you are not in need of them. On the other hand, there must be a formality and uniformity in the time the appliances are unplugged daily. On the 30th day of the month, request the electric bill from either your parents or the company where you were carrying out your project. Finally, compare the electric bill from the previous month with the one in which the project was done. Calculate the percentage difference and record the results for future reference. Solution. This project resolves the environmental issues of depletion of energy sources and environmental pollution. Therefore, energy conservation through switching electric appliances is also a solution to curb carbon emissions from electronic devices like computers and microwaves, to quote a few. The calculation of carbon emissions in every household is done by using carbon footprints. Hence, the solution to energy conservation is as easy as unplugging electronic appliances when not in use. Proposers and opposers of the project. Different environmental scientists are campaigning for energy saving or conservation by encouraging people to unplug electronic devices when not in use. For instance, Tracy Metro, an environmental scientist, encourages people to use smart strips, which connect all electric appliances together, and when one switches them off, all electronic devices in the house go off, hence saving energy. This is a solution to energy conservation. Feasibility of the project. Luckily, this energy conservation tip is not under any form of opposition. On the contrary, the emerging issue is ensuring that all households and companies take individual responsibility for following simple instructions like turning off all electric appliances when not in use. In addition, the project is cheap in terms of resources and labor because it only requires one to purchase a record book and a pen. Ironically, it saves the money spent on settling electric bills. On the other hand, time commitment is the only challenge that one can experience. However, with good planning and available time management, it is no longer a challenge. Recommendations. The recommendation is that one can save energy consumption through the installation of eco-gadgets like energy-efficient bulbs and power surges, among others. The use of power strips by plugging in many electronic devices at once makes switching off easier. In addition, personal responsibility, whereby people are trained to keep unplugging electronic gadgets when not in use, becomes a routine. Finally, using kilowatt, which measures the amount of energy used, helps one save energy through the continued observation of the electricity in use. Conclusion. In summary, energy conservation is pocket-friendly and cuts down environmental pollution. Worldwide, electric energy applies to most households and industries. However, there is an increase in the misuse of this energy through electronic devices. Therefore, the disconnection of all electronic appliances in all households not only curbs carbon emissions but also cuts down on electric bills. In addition, the use of eco-friendly gadgets that use low power also contributes to energy conservation. Did you like this solution for energy conservation sample? To get more works like this one, make sure to check out the database of academic paper examples at ivpanda.com. You will find thousands of samples for all your study needs.